right now. My name is Brian Knight. I'm the founder of Pragmatic Works. My Twitter handle is @BrianKnight, and my email address is bknight@pragmaticworks.com. I'm going to skip the bio today. This session is geared solely at Power BI consumers, meaning you have a solution already built, perhaps, and now you want to go out and actually use that solution that a developer may have built, or you want to encourage your business users to actually use the solution that you've built. These are the top 10 tips that you'll find that we find organizations really love when they roll this out. This is part of our Power BI for Consumers class that we just launched this week. So it's about a 2-hour class solely geared at your business users to get them ramped up and increase adoption in your teams. So we'll cover more about that at the end of the class. This is actually a 30-minute session today. I want to find a way to really bust through these fast. So we're going to have 10 demos in 25 minutes. So we'll see how we do here. It's going to be a whirlwind tour though. So these are mostly very, very quick tips. Speaking of which, let's jump into our first one. So again, this is we'll skip our agenda slide, or my agenda slide and my bio slide, just to give us the most time to actually focus on this. And this session is being recorded, so if you want to share this with others and share this with your business users later, please feel free to go ahead and pass this forward. All right, so really one of the common things we find that customers do when they or don't know when they first get into BI is, well, what kind of questions should I ask of my data? So the number 10 tips, this is counting up here in this case, is really around a boatload of industry samples that are part of Power BI. There's also some great pre-built solutions that are already out there as well. But what this can help you do is just see how other organizations are actually doing things like customer profitability examples, or how they're doing human resource, or sales and marketing spends, and those kind of things. So it gives you a great starting spot to figure out, am I asking the right questions? So let me show you what I mean by that. If I hop out real quick into Power BI, to get to those samples, you'll go to Get Data. You'll then see things like samples right here, and then you'll also see a solution template. The samples look like this. This is the screenshot I showed you before. You click on that, it will now install it, so only you can see it. You can also share them out, of course, as well, but it gives you at least a good starting spot to figure out what kind of questions should I ask. The other thing you'll notice on that previous screen are pre-built solutions. Those pre-built solutions look like this, for example. This is a campaign one for looking at your Twitter account. So you can kind of see there's a whole bunch of pre-built solutions inside this. I've got a whole bunch of pre-built pages where I can analyze my Twitter account and see, am I getting the most out of Twitter? Who's actually following Power BI, who's not? There's lots of stuff inside this. This is just one of the pre-built ones you can find under here. So this is, for example, you got this right here. You have this, if you have Salesforce.com, you have that. Your Facebook analysis, SAP analysis, lots of good stuff that's right out of the box. You hit the little test drive button, and it will actually do a lot of stuff inside of Azure. So very, very easy way to kind of knock things out. So that is the industry samples and templates to get things going. Number 9 is the quick insights. Now, again, this is geared at, you don't know what kind of questions to ask. We had a restaurant that was in one of my sessions a long time ago, well, this year, excuse me, and they use this quick insights button to start to probe their data and find patterns in their data they may not have known they already had. And by doing that, what that actually did for them is they were able then to go through and find out they had a lot of theft going on at certain restaurants in certain regions. It turns out they had a manager who was just not watching the till there, and was getting caught with his finger in it, unfortunately. So this is a way you can kind of ask questions of your data that you may not have known you had to ask. So let's kind of show you an example of what one of those might look like. So this is the quick insights area. And if I hop over here back to Power BI again, and I go into the Power BI area here, what we can do here again is you'll see under workspace, my workspaces here, I've got a number of solutions already built, and I'm going to go to data sets. Under data sets, there's a number of icons we have here. Let me go down to the bottom left, though, you can kind of see what this looks like. So customer profitability, for example. I can click Quick Insights. Let me do the human resource one. I like that one especially. Quick Insights. Now this might take, you know, anywhere from 2 minutes to 15 minutes to get the answer. In my case, it was just like a good 10 seconds here to do that. Now, once it's done, I hit View Insights, and it'll tell me what it found in my data that might be interesting here. Let me go ahead and close down those notifications. There we go. So we're seeing things. It's going to create a whole bunch of reports and a whole bunch of little mini dashboards that we can kind of find out what it looks like. So it looks like average employee count. It looks like we're seeing the count of employees really increase here. We're also seeing the number of bad hires increase here. It looks like this is not real data, of course, but we're seeing certain types of groups are causing have a higher separation count for certain region. So lots of really interesting analytics it'll find just by itself. What it's looking for is any kind of deviations or any interesting data it can find. Sometimes it finds nothing, and occasionally it finds some gold. So lots of good stuff we can do inside this. This is called the Quick Insights feature in Power BI. Again, you get there by going to Data Sets, hitting the ellipsis button, and hitting Quick Insights. That's how you get there. Okay, and it tries to find any kind of patterns in that data. Of course, this is the biggie one. This is not really a tip, but this is just a hey, I hope you know how to do this, but I had to kind of throw it in here because I had to make sure people know how to do this. As you're looking at reports that people build for you, you can pin those into a dashboard. So really, there's 3 levels in Power BI. You start with a data set. From a data set, you build a report. And from a report, you're going to build a set of dashboards. Now that dashboard might contain some stuff from Salesforce.com, some stuff from the accounting system, and some stuff from your internal system. So it brings together all those systems into one view for you. And that's the best thing about this. You can pin those visuals very, very easily. Again, most of you probably already know this, but if I like this employee count guy right here that I see, you can see this little push pin right here. So when you're looking at any report out there, you hit that little push pin, and it's going to ask you, where do you want to pin that into? I'll pin this into my human resource sample 1. I'll go ahead and click on it, and let's go ahead and view that dashboard now. And I can also edit this to the phone view as well. But if I go to my human resource dashboard, which is right here, we'll now see that as well inside of this. So it pins all those elements. There's my employee count right there, we just saw. All those elements are into one view. So again, I could put on this human resource one the cost of the employees from our payroll system, and then the terminations from our other system, from an Excel spreadsheet perhaps, security system. We can bring all this stuff into one dashboard for my employees, and we can share that dashboard. And that sharing button is right up here under the share icon right top. Okay. Sharing, by the way, does require the Pro edition of Power BI. Number 7 is the custom visuals. There are some amazing custom visuals out there. There's dozens of them out there. Matter of fact, Devin has a custom visuals class you can find on our blog at pragmaticworks.com. He puts about 1 a week out there. I'll show you some of my favorites here in a moment. But these custom visuals, there's great built-in visuals, of course, like pie charts and all those kind of things. But what if you want to really have your data tell a story? Now that link on the bottom there is actually not the correct link anymore, but it does route you to the correct page. The correct page is in the Microsoft Store now, much like you'll find things like the templates for Office. You'll find custom visuals. So to use these, if I were to go over to any data set here and kind of start to build a new report, or I can actually edit a report. Let me just go to this customer profitability one here. This is just a data set here, and I'm starting to kind of go through and build a report here, and I can go and select what is my cost of goods and for my suppliers, and keep on going deeper and deeper, and look at this by, I don't know, I'll pick on this by business unit, for example. Okay, as I'm looking at this, though, you see all my visuals in the top right. Now, right underneath my visuals is this little ellipsis button right there. Now, that ellipsis button allows me to go through and actually do things like import custom visuals. Now, I can import them from a file that I have or from another installer or whatnot. But in my case, the easiest way to do this now, this is a new feature, is to actually import this right from the store. It's going to open up a little dialog box and show you all the custom visuals that are available out in the store today. So things like bullet charts and histograms. I love the infographic one. You saw one when we showed the Twitter analysis. You saw a custom visual there. That's cluster. I think it's a cluster map there we saw. So lots of good analysis we can do. We can search for them, but there are literally dozens and dozens of these. For financial analysis, you'll find the box and whiskers is a common one for financial analysis. So lots of good ones. I can scroll and scroll and scroll, and you'll see that there's some amazing ones for drilling down into a state. So you can start with a country, drill down to a state, then look at a metro area, then look at the voting districts and zip codes. There's some really amazing ones. Sandance is also a really cool one as well. So lots of good ones. Explore them and kind of poke around and see what you can find. All I have to do is hit the add button though, and it's going to suck that into my custom visual, into my report here. And there we go. I click on it, and then now I'm building a report with this Sandance. Now this data set does not match that in this case, but you can kind of see where it's starting to work here with Sandance. Okay, so this is the custom visuals you can easily do inside that. You can also, let's see here. Okay, let me hop back over to custom visuals. Okay, so the store is an easy way to find them. You can also, as you build inside a Power BI desktop, as you publish that report up to the cloud, like this Power BI service here, it will also bring in all those custom visuals as well. Number 6. This is a really cool feature for the Power BI service also. It's the Analyze with Excel feature. Now, to do this, there's really 2 steps of doing this. All you have to do is download and install. You can find the little download button up top there. You download and install the Analyze in Excel option. And if you're familiar with Excel, you're familiar with things like pivot tables, that's exactly what it's going to give you inside of Excel. But now your data set is going to be Power BI. So it's Power BI is basically routing you through and doing all the data for you. It's caching a database. It will be your database in this case. So to do this, again, very, very simple. We'll go into our data set and click the Analyze in Excel button. Now keep in mind, this changes quite often, but right now this is where things are at. I go up to data set right here. So this is the data set I just had open over here under data sets here. And then when I hit the little ellipsis button, I hit the Analyze in Excel. Okay, now that's bringing down a file right now. It's ODC file. And if I were to open up that ODC file inside of Excel, there it goes, it's going to connect to Power BI. It's going to give you a little warning saying, are you sure you trust this data source? Sure, why not? Here we go. It's then going to connect to that data source, being this data set inside of Power BI, and allow me to do things like pivot tables right inside of Excel. So if I go back over here again, we're now seeing there's my cost of goods, our gross margin, all that. I just click on it, and that's my overall gross margin in dollars here. And as I scroll down, we can see is it by different products here. Let's go into our business unit here. Okay, so as I do this, we're able to find out our core business and our growth business and our minor business and able to kind of drill into it. It feels like an Excel user. As a business user, you're familiar with Excel already. So this makes it where you're kind of bringing Power BI into a very comfortable environment, especially if you're in finance. This is a great feature that I really love. So again, it's all I have to do is make sure that I'm clicking inside this pane right here, and this grid, this pivot table opens up on the right here as well. So it disappears as soon as I get out of it. So Power BI, Analyze in Excel option, great feature for making sure that you can kind of use the tools that you're comfortable with. All right, while we're on the topic of Excel, you can also store these great workbooks out there as well. So if you want to import workbooks, you can either import them using things like OneDrive, or just import them the old-fashioned way. Once you import them, they can become data sets, or they can also become just an area that you pin stuff to. So Excel workbook integration is a relatively new integration they built into Power BI service. Let's show you how that works also. So I'll go back over here again. You'll see this new workbook section right here. So if I were to select this workbook section, okay, let me go and discard what I've already done here. Okay, it's going to open up Excel Online, which is going to feel a lot like SharePoint if you've ever seen that before. And as I do this, it's going to open up the Excel workbook here, and I'll see this is just a good old-fashioned Excel workbook that I can kind of interact with. I can also, select certain areas like this guy right here, for example, and you'll notice a little pin option. I'm able to pin this now to the same dashboard that I just pinned that human resource example to. Now to do that, all I have to do is just get data. And when I get data, we can actually import that Excel doc using the files over here. Now, as it sees that you're bringing in things like Excel, it will ask you, do you want to point to Excel Online? Do you want to make this a data set? Or do you just want to make this something where you can kind of pin stuff to? Either way, If you use things like OneDrive, the nice thing about using OneDrive is as you refresh the spreadsheet, it will automatically refresh your cloud as well on the next refresh of the report. So the data set, excuse me. So it's kind of automatically tied to that. You're not having to go out and constantly save the latest version of my budget and all that. Just save it to OneDrive, and it just automatically publishes it out there that way. So that's a great feature of that, and it basically will put that into workbooks there as well. So you'll see I actually have a workbook right here, customer profitability sample. That's actually from a workbook, from an Excel spreadsheet, and now I can build reports right on top of it. So nice feature, really tight integration. The only restriction is it has to be an Excel table. So it has to be an Excel table, and it must be an XLSX file, not an XLS file. So it has to be the new version of Excel, meaning the 2010, 2006, you know, one of the newer extensions out there. Number 4. So number 4 or 5 side is descriptions. This is a great feature inside of Power BI. This is a relatively new feature also. This feature allows you to have the report emailed to you upon certain kinds of changes that might be out there. So for example, if you want to have this, have a certain report, you care about a certain number, if that number ever changes above 20%, like maybe it's an occupancy rate, or hey, my utilization for my consultants fell below 75%, that's a big problem. Go ahead and alert me of that in those cases. So let me hop over real quick and show you how to do this. So you'll notice that when I go over to a dashboard like this guy here, customer profitability sample. Okay, this is actually showing you all my sales trends, not literally my sales trends, but sales trends that are out there. Notice this guy right here. This is that Excel workbook you saw before. I actually went and pinned that into this as well. So we're seeing all that in one view here. So if I went through, and you'll see the subscribe button in the top right, what it's going to ask me is, what number do you really care about? Are you looking for a certain kind? You want this dropped in your inbox every day? Sorry, I'm thinking about the alerts here. Excuse me. So I'm going to have this. I'm going to hit save and close, and it's going to go ahead and drop this in my inbox. There we go. Oh, I can only have one subscription. I've already done this before. I'm going to turn it off real quick and save that. All right, I forgot I've already done that. I tested this example, as you hope I would, before our webinar. And let me go ahead and turn this on now. There we go. I'm going to turn this on. I'm now subscribed to it. I will save it. And you'll also notice down the bottom right here, there is a manage all subscriptions. So when I go back to subscribe again, there's a manage all subscriptions area right here, and we can see what reports I'm subscribed to right there. Just kind of a neat way of having these reports kind of drop in your inbox every day. There's also things like alerts right here, which we'll come back to a little bit later. Those alerts are going to tell you if that number drops below a certain level, go ahead and send me an alert that way. And we'll come back to those alerts when we get to the phone section a little bit later. All right, so that's a pretty easy feature, subscriptions, but nice feature for building reports out pretty simply. All right, number 3 is content pack, excuse me. Content packs are pre-built basically solutions for you. Now, your organization can build you a content pack, or you can build a content pack for organization. So you might have the perfect set of reports for Salesforce that your sister company wants to use also. So you can package this up into a content pack, share this with them, and they just have to change a few things, and they're off to the races. Now, Microsoft has built a whole slew of these content packs for you. And these are pretty amazing. So if I go back to get data again, and you'll notice these are my organization content pack. Sorry, they have a new name for them called App Sources now. And you'll see App Sources, internal ones in here as well. But like you see apps right here, for example. But they were used to be called content packs. I have a whole habit of still calling them content packs. But the My Organization ones, these are ones that people in my organization have already built. And you'll see those right here. These are ones that some demos that some of my folks have already built out there to kind of play with. However, I've got a services one right here that Microsoft has built also. And if you can think of a service, it's probably here. So, for example, if I were to point to Salesforce.com right here, or point to Dynamics or QuickBooks, it has a whole set of pre-built reports for you of what it thinks you care about. Now, these may not be perfect. They're good, but they're a great starting point. The Salesforce one's pretty nice. It'll ask you what kind of role you are in the organization and kind of go to the next step there. There's also ones for little known service like Jira, ones for GitHub and if you're a developer, or Google Analytics. So all of these, if you're a marketing person, MailChimp, I mean, just tons and tons and tons, pages of them here in this case, different content or different app source apps that are already kind of built for you in this case. But great ways of kind of getting into this. Okay, these are called used to be called content packs. They're now apps that you can bring right into Power BI. Okay, I apologize for the old name there. I got an old habit of using an old name there. All right, number 2, mobile alerts. This is one of my favorite features in the mobile application. The mobile app for Power BI, it's one of those, people are pretty, when you go to the Apple App Store, the Google Store, the app is slightly different between the two, but as far as features they have turned on right now. But this is a feature where you can be alerted if a certain number drops or rises or changes for you. This will actually push you a data-driven push alert, and it can also send you an email if you configure it in such a way where it can do that also. So let's show you how this works. My first time trying this application, so we're going to see how we do here. So if I were to go over to Connect, I'm going to try to cast my my cell phone here. We'll see if we get lucky here. Okay, so bear with me while this is my first time trying this. Well, not trying it live, but trying it live, excuse me. All right, there we go. So you're now seeing my phone now, and I have an Android phone, as you can tell. Let me go wide here in this case. And I'm going to open up just one of these dashboards here, the human resource example. So this type of alert works on these tiles that you're seeing in the top right, that new hire tile, for example. So if I select that tile, you'll see I have 2,000 new hires in the last 6 months, and the little alert button in the top right is that little bell button. When I select it, it's going to ask me to create a new alert, and yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Let's go ahead and create a new alert. I can give it a title, of course, but hey, if that number ever goes below, how about we say, I don't know, 40 or 500. If I'm not hiring 500 people in 6 months, go ahead and send me an alert. Now, this is going to fire every 24 hours to give me, that's a maximum I ever want to see an alert, is every 24 hours. It can also, you'll notice at the very bottom there, send me an email as well. So let me go ahead and save that. And I now have an alert. So that's as easy it is to basically make your data ultimately actionable. You'll notice as I'm looking at certain kind of graphs like this guy right here, have lots of cool interactions you can do with it. I hit this little graph icon on the top right. We can look at the report and actually get deeper into it. It also on the top, look at the bottom there. If I had a report that had some kind of geography-based system in here, you have that little location-based where it can do center the map into where you're at that exact moment. So it'll pass the geo coordinates into there at that point. So I can do that. You can also annotate it, so I can draw on it, put happy faces on it, and send these through a text message or whatever. Put some whatever I want into this. So it has lots of features, and once you're all done, you hit the share button, and you can send your enlightening message that I just sent right there through my phone. So lots of neat stuff we can do with this. This is the mobile BI and the data alerts. Okay, let me go ahead and unshare this real quick. There we go. All right. So mobile BI, really cool feature. Our last one, and my favorite feature in Power BI, is the user interaction with Q&A. This really is going to lower the learning curve of Power BI. Now, right now, they're actually expanding it, not just English, but it also works in things like, at least in preview mode right now, in Spanish. They're adding more languages all the time. But right now, at the time of this recording, at the time of this live webinar, English is the primary language, and they're starting to test other languages also. So let's show this last feature. We are going to end at perfect timing here, looks like. So as I go into just one of my dashboards here, like my, I don't know, human resource one, I can ask like, all right, give me the number of bad hires, or show me the number of, customers. There we go. There's my number of customers right there. I'll ask by state. Now, it's able to recognize that I'm asking a question that's a geographic question. And because I'm asking a geographic question, it's giving me a geographic answer. However, I can actually fine tune that under visualizations on the right, or I can just ask it a visualization question. I can ask, give this to me in a pie chart. God forbid. There we go. That's gonna look pretty ugly. I'll do a bar chart instead. So you can ask exactly how you want the data. And you see, in my case, my data has a little goofiness in it, has some blanks in it, but for state. But all in all, I can actually ask where clauses. I can ask any kind of question like that. And if I like this, I can pin this visual and use it over and over and over again. It's a great feature in Power BI, and this really lowers the learning curve for you. You'll notice in this case, it actually shows me in the bottom here what type of data set it's actually pulling from. It's pulling from the customer profitability sample. So even though I started in a different dashboard, even though I started in this dashboard here for human resource, I'll start in this case. It actually pulled from customer profitability. To do this, your entry point is always going to be in the dashboard area. Oops, that's report. Excuse me. Your entry point is always in the dashboard, but then you can ask it questions of any dashboard you want. So if I go over here and ask a question like, show me the bad hire count. There we go. It's the number of bad hires I've had here. Oh, my bad hire. There we go. Bad hires. There we go. Oh, I didn't ask a count here. There we go. So you'll notice it's actually making recommendations that we can't figure this out, but it looks like you might care about these types of things. And that's because I'm not actually asking the right question right now. But I could click on this and it'll actually show me total revenue or common ones. You can pin those common ones, but it's because I'm in the customer profitability one, asking an HR one, and I'm asking the wrong question. That because that culmination right there, it doesn't know how to answer it. But if I actually went over to human resource example and asked that same question, let's see, or ask a similar question, show me the bad, and now it's going to make a recommendation here, bad hire count. Now it'll make recommendations here by date, and it will ultimately, let's do it by business unit. There we go. So we're building a report out very, very easily just by asking questions. It's actually recommending other things. Well, what other things might you care about for this? So this is tip number one, my favorite features of Power BI, and it's the Q&A feature in Power BI. Well, the last few seconds here, again, this is part of a class that we have called the Power BI Consumer class, very inexpensive class. However, right now we are also offering a promotion. It's a $500 off the unlimited pack, which is about 30 some odd classes. It's including this test Power BI class, plus a whole bunch of developer Power BI classes. That's every class we have under the sun. You can take them whenever you want for a year, and it's called every online class, on-demand class, excuse me. And it's called the Unlimited Pack. You'll find it on our website, and the promo code is on the bottom of your screen right now. We only have a few days left on this promo, but a great example of how you can learn really, really fast. Is there any questions you have at this point? And then we're actually are out of time now, but I'll fill a few questions here. Looks like you guys have been pretty quiet here. We had a ton of you guys on the phone, but no questions. I must have answered most of the questions. I think I covered even Rich's question there. All right, well, this session is recorded. If you have any other questions, please feel free to email me at bknight@pragmaticworks.com. And thanks for watching these top 10 tips for Power BI consumers, which is all around the Power BI service for your data consumers. Have a great day, and talk to you later.